Welcome to the 2014 Best of Reston Community Service Awards. Please welcome Gala co-chairs Karen Cleveland and Casey Veach.
Well, welcome to the 23rd Annual Best of Reston Awards. My name is Karen Cleveland, and I'm thrilled to be here with my friend Casey Veach again to celebrate people who have given back so much to our community. It's going to be a wonderful evening. Right, Casey?
Can anybody guess what the theme is tonight? Anybody? Thank you. Celebration, exactly right. So think about 23 years of Reston Chamber and Cornerstones partnering together, 50 years of Reston, and tonight, April 10th, is our founder's 100th birthday, and he is here to celebrate with us tonight.
It's been quite a week for Bob. Founders Day was just on Saturday, and he has been celebrating the whole month, so we're just thrilled that he's sharing his birthday with us. There is one other thing that we are celebrating tonight, and that is that the beneficiary for tonight, and the same beneficiary for the past 23 years, Reston Interfaith, has chosen this year, the 50th anniversary of Reston, to change their name to Cornerstones to better reflect and solidify their place in Reston's history as truly a cornerstone of the foundation of Reston. So we're really pleased and privileged to be here tonight to celebrate them and to raise money for them.
Yeah, specifically to raise money for Cornerstones for their work in the community, but also to double the stock of their affordable housing that they have. So that is a great cause, obviously.
And that's right, Casey. Last year, Bob Simon actually was our honorary chair, and he challenged us to raise $1 million in 2 years so that they could double their stock of affordable housing, which is pretty cool.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news and I have better news. The good news, first of all, is that we're not going to sing anymore. And the better news is that I just spoke with Mike Bradshaw from Google, and they have a new app that will remove the sound of these horns so you can sleep tonight. So Mike, thank you. See him afterwards. Well, thank you very much to the Best of Reston Committee for the honor of making this golden anniversary toast. As we reach the half-century mark in the life of our community, the Chamber and Cornerstones bring us together for the 23rd time to recognize those individuals, organizations, and businesses that make Reston, that make a positive difference in the life of Reston. These are the weavers of the fabric of our community, who, like those before them, have worked to strengthen the special bond that holds us together. A bond woven of fabric that is proven secure enough to help support those most vulnerable, broad enough to be welcoming to all, and resilient enough to meet the challenges of the future. And so a toast to this very special place we call Reston, and to the weavers, past, present, and future. May our fabric of community always stay strong. Cheers! Cheers!
Please join me in welcoming our newest neighbor in Reston Town Center and a Cornerstone's visionary partner, Leidos. We are pleased to be joined tonight by John Thomas, Executive Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer, ably assisted on the rolling cart. Yes? No?
It was too dangerous.
Too dangerous. No longer ably assisted. John's going to do it all by himself.
Thanks, Phil. I don't know how you follow that, so it's going to be a tough act. We were supposed to help bring the cake up here, but I don't think they trusted us. It was a little too important a job for us. But we are really glad to be here tonight, and we really thank everybody that's here as part of this really historic evening, celebrating some spectacular anniversaries. When Leidos was established and planned our move to Reston, which, by the way, is my hometown, so we really anticipated being part of the community. Our CEO, John Jumper, and the board of directors believe it's important to support the communities where we work and where we live. So it was important for us to be part of this community. But we never, I don't think, imagined the kind of welcome we'd have when we got here. One of the first things we did with our employees here, we had a little get-together in the pavilion next door to welcome employees to our building and those kind of things. And who was there but none other than Bob? I mean, when you get welcomed to the community that way, that's pretty special. And we felt that way from day one. It's also very humbling to be on this stage with folks like the Chuck Veach and the Veach family and Bob. It really shows the best in Reston. And you know, one of Bob's I think visions of this community was inclusion, having a community that welcomed all, and we certainly felt that in our part with a new business moving into town. You know, sometimes you're received one way or another, but immediately we were received very warmly, and we really do appreciate that. So our job, though, in Leidos, in the areas we work, which is national security, health, and engineering, we look to turn challenges into opportunities. And along with that, we look to shouldering our fair share of the challenges here in this community, and we intend to do that. And we could think of no better way to do that and to start that with supporting Cornerstones and the great work that they do. So Bob, you know, one of the things you always wanted to do when you were a kid, you always wanted to open presents before you ate the cake, right? But you were never ever allowed to do that. But tonight I'm going to do that for you, Bob, for a little, at least a little bit here. One of the important things that we have the honor of doing is receiving this bust of Bob, which is up on, or was up on the screen, and we had the honor of receiving that. David Adamusko is the sculpture. It is a great likeness and I think a fitting tribute. But our view is what we really want to do with the time that we've got, I guess, the custodianship, Bob, of the statue is really circulate it to the wider community. So what we'd like to do is allow that bust of Bob to kind of rotate through the community between some other corporations and schools, and with the hope that that'll encourage discussion and talk about your vision, what this community is today, and what it will be in the future. So again, welcome. We're very happy to be here, very happy to be part of the community, and we look to make contributions in the future. Happy birthday to Reston, and Bob, most especially, happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and also Leidos. What a wonderful gift to our community. And what a great work of art and a contribution from our local sculptor, Dave Adamusko. Is Dave in the room? Could he please stand? Way over there. Capturing Bob's image in bronze was a helpful and fun contribution to the I Stand With Bob campaign in support of tonight's efforts, so we thank you, David. And hopefully that's the only bust we have in our program tonight. It's okay. We also have a special gift for Bob provided by David Ross from Atlantic Realty. In addition to his strategic partnership support this evening, David has provided a bottle of wine that is more than 100 years old and should be very good if it is aged as well as Bob Simon. So rather than wine and roses on your 100th birthday, you have wine and cake, Bob. I hope there'll be some left by the end of the evening.
Good evening, everyone. It is just great to be with you. 40 years ago, my husband and I were living in Mexico and discovered we were going to be coming to the Washington suburbs. And we didn't know what to do. But we heard about this quixotic character called Bob Simon, who was putting together a brand new concept of living. And we thought, why not join it? My husband, Hunt, loved the idea of cherishing the environment, having lots of recreational opportunities. He thought it would be good for our kids. And I loved the fact that Bob Simon was creating a community that would welcome everybody. Didn't matter how much money you had, it didn't matter what color you were in Virginia. I thought that would be good for our kids too. So we came out here in the middle of nowhere, absolutely nowhere, and joined the community. And what a great opportunity it's been. But when we got here, we realized something. Bob Simon's vision was a vision, but it wasn't going to work without the people living here participating. And that's what's so wonderful about the Best of Reston, because we are recognizing the people who are making the vision work.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. Jane and I are pleased to be with you again. We say about Best of Reston, it's our favorite night of the year. We love coming and congratulating this year, certainly Bob on his birthday, happy birthday, Bob, but also to all of our award winners, and a recognition that this room is filled with future award winners, those of you who contribute to make our community such a wonderful place. What Janet and I are able to do is a little bit of what you were doing earlier in the program. We like to toot the horns of people who do well in Reston. And so we go to Richmond each year with the Best of Reston awardees, and we introduce these joint resolutions, and each of our award winners receive one of them tonight. I want to tell you, in these difficult legislative times, all these award winners tonight got unanimous recognition in the General Assembly of Virginia. And it was our great pleasure to toot your horn, as we always love to toot the horn of Reston. Thank you and good night.
I'm from Congress and we can't afford to frame it. We're cutting back. No, that's a beautiful frame thing there, Ken. I was kind of hoping, though, it was a declaration that the General Assembly had relented and agreed to expand Medicaid for 400,000 Virginians. And I know Ken and Janet are working on that. I am delighted to be with you again, and we're honoring so much this year. You know, Bob was presented with that bottle of wine, and by the way, Bob, remember who loves you. You know, World War I had just started in 1914, and the world had never seen anything like it. Nobody thought it would last that long, and it totally transformed the world Bob was born into. And Reston was probably not on his mind in 1914 when he was born. But it does tell you a lot about the power of an idea. The power of an idea, and it really has taken hold in Reston. This is really a community that cares, a community that really invests in itself, and I think Cornerstones particularly represents one of the very best in the traditions that has become Reston. The idea that a community could be inclusive, irrespective of background, race, creed, color, wealth, and make everybody feel welcome and give everyone the opportunity to participate is really, in some ways, an old idea, but it's also an idea that so many other communities could afford to adopt. Reston is a model, not only for Northern Virginia, but for the country, and we owe a great deal of gratitude to Bob for sticking with that idea. Happy birthday, Bob. Happy birthday, Reston. Thank you.
We're very lucky to have Jerry as a congressman. Based on what he just showed us, he's one congressman that'll never be framed. Also, in addition to these special recognitions, tonight's honorees will also receive letters and certificates of congratulations from U.S. Senator Mark Warner. So now, at last, we honor the recipients of the 2014 Best of Reston Community Service Awards. And as they come forward, did you know that 23 years ago, the movie of the year was Rain Man? The TV show of the year was The Cosby Show. But the best show of all was the first Best of Reston. The Best of Reston Awards are presented in 4 categories: individual community member, civic community organization, small business leader, and corporate business leader. Their awards tonight will be presented by our strategic partners who themselves have made a difference with investments in Cornerstone's work. Our first honoree has been pitching in with her whole heart for nearly 40 years through service in every major Reston institution. Bonnie Hockness has been keeping Reston's story alive through the years, sustaining our spirit through the arts and feeding the soul. She knows that sharing our community's rich resources are the most important building blocks for a strong and enduring community. Please congratulate Bonnie Hockness. Bonnie's award will be presented by Dr. Brian Subak of the Virginia Spine Institute.
Bonnie Hockness brings kind of a spark to everything she's involved in. And when she came to the trust, she brought that enthusiasm and that energy that really pulls a group together and gives a sense of purpose.
She came to us as the chair of the Reston Home Tour in 2007. She'd had her home on the tour in 2005. She was willing to put in the extra time, the extra commitment, the extra devotion that this really wonderful event, the Reston Home Tour, was for Reston, as for its history, for its exploration, and as a major fundraiser for Reston Museum.
There's a lot of interesting homes in the area, and it's a way to bring the community together.
We're drawing from many places, not just Reston. People are coming from DC and Maryland and all over Virginia, so it's gotten to be probably 5 times larger than when she first took over.
People look forward to it because of what she has done to make it so representative of the community.
Because of Reston's diversity and because of its wide range of neighborhoods and home styles that are here, from condos to townhouses to detached homes, all kinds of homes, to show us the wonderful neighborhoods that we have here.
She always picks a variety of income levels. She thinks about homes that are environmentally sensitive and responsible, and she brings Reston's values to that tour and to that process.
She brought Dana Scheuer's beautiful art to the program and to the tickets, and every year people look forward to seeing that, and they collect them every year as well.
It's a tough job to manage it, but she does that with grace and calmness, and she handles it well.
And she kind of does that with everything she does.
For many years, Bonnie and I were co-chairs of the Merchandise Committee at the Fine Arts Festival. And for about the past 10 years, we have co-chaired the Artist Check-In Committee.
Bonnie is now serving on the Friends of Reston board, which is an outgrowth of her love of the open space and the outdoors and her desire to preserve the beauty that we have in this community.
She developed the Camp Scholarships program that was already in place. However, she's brought it to light, because I wasn't aware of it, where people can just donate money and make it possible for some, more underprivileged children that live in Reston, who haven't been able to attend the camps because of there's a price attached.
Bonnie shares in Bob Simon's dream of Reston and his concept of this community, of community in general.
She just wants, everybody to have all the advantages that Reston offers, and she helps make that happen.
She encourages and she inspires other people to get involved.
Having gotten involved with Bonnie in the home tour has actually gotten me engaged in many other aspects of life here in Reston.
And when they get involved, they can appreciate and they can participate in this dream that we have here, in Bob's dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Bonnie Hawkins.
Well, it's both very exciting and very humbling to come here this evening as an honoree. I have been so fortunate to live, work, and play in this great community for 40 years. I want to thank our founder, Bob Simon, for his vision to create this special place. It's great to share this evening with Bob and his lovely wife, Cheryl, on his 100th birthday. I also want to thank the Chamber and Cornerstones for sponsoring this event. They really epitomize what this community is all about. And of course, Karen and Casey make it a very special and fun evening. Karen is my neighbor. Moving next door to Karen and Jim was a real life changer. Have you ever tried to say no to Jim Cleveland? As I look around this room, I see so many people with whom I share this award. They have inspired, guided, and encouraged me. Specifically, I want to mention Carol Nahorniak, Margaret Gupta, Katie Shaw, Kathy Hoskinson, Donna Schaefer, all my friends and my manager at Long and Foster, as well as the board of the Reston Historic Trust and the Friends of Reston. There are also many great friends and family members here this evening who I owe heaps of thanks to. I would also like to mention Steve and Emily Ward, without whose accolades I probably wouldn't be here. In his former life, Steve was a writer for both politicians and an oil company, and yet they believed what he said. There is one person here tonight without whose help I really couldn't have done it. And as most of you know, that person is my husband, Bob. He is my photographer, my computer geek, my graphics guy, The truth is, I think I made it possible for him to discover lots of hidden talents. Since my minute or two of fame is nearly up, I just want to say something to the younger people here tonight, and I'm so happy to see quite a few of you. It's very easy in a community like Reston to find something to be passionate about. When you get involved, you think you will make your little corner of the world a better place, and you might. But at the end of the day, you're going to be the real winner because the payback is huge. So thank you all very much for this honor. I really appreciate it.
Some of you may have noticed that Bonnie got to the stage even before her presenter arrived. That's typical of Bonnie. She's a great real estate agent. I Googled her the other day. And I I Googled type A real estate agent, her picture showed up. So. Our next honoree always looks for the best in people and finds it. Her quiet, consistent presence inspires children to reach for their dreams and gives confidence to adults who need a helping hand. Carol Ann Bradley has served the Reston community for many years. She served the community for many years as a leader, educator, mentor, and volunteer, bringing neighbors together, giving selflessly of her time and heart to uplift, motivate, and guide and help others. Please congratulate Carol Ann Bradley. Carol Ann's award will be presented by Lila Gordon, Executive Director, Reston Community Center.
I would say that I don't go more than a week without hearing her name in this building. The word compassionate always comes out when they talk about Carol. And she was someone who knew the kids by name, knew students by name, and taking the time to meet and greet students in the morning, every single morning and every single afternoon. That was something that she did that became very important to me very quickly, and it's something that I do.
She's still very much involved in children to make sure that children are on a level playing field. She volunteers at Forest Edge Elementary School, mentoring children.
Hutchison Elementary School, she's done it at Hunters Woods Elementary School. She's worked with kids from the Saturday School at the Southgate Community Center. She teaches with love. She is an example of love in action.
Whether it was her church, whether it was, involving us with other families, people coming to our house for Thanksgiving, making sure we had coats for children who needed them. I think what in many ways has been instilled in my brother and I is that there's always time to give back, because she found all the time in the world to give back at all times. She's still doing it, in her retirement. She's even busier and volunteers more time and does more.
She encouraged us to become tutors at some of the local elementary schools. She encouraged us to join a mentoring program. We volunteered to read to preschoolers in partnership with the Reston Library and Laurel Learning Center.
She was on the Reston Community Center board and was very involved in all of our dealings with the arts. She has this excitement, and you can feel it when she walks into, there's a presence about her, something very stately about Carol Ann. She's just a fantastic person.
She led our board as its chair. And that was such a key time because we were involved in very difficult and sometimes contentious discussions within the community. And her great skill was in being able to listen to different points of view, to synthesize those points of view, and most especially to listen with her heart.
Carol Ann also volunteers at the Emory Rucker Shelter. She just does not go in and volunteer and sit behind a desk and answer the telephone. She reaches out to all the, as Kerry Wilson likes to call them, our guests. And they're all very, very important to her. And I think just her quiet, unassuming manner is sort of soothing and gives people a comfort level to want to be around her and to be in her presence.
I am so proud to call her mom. I'm so proud to share her with the Reston community and really throughout the world. I think what's interesting is now even Reston stretches further with Global Camps Africa and all these other things that she's involved in. And so just to call her mom to me is just one of those things I'm grateful for every day.
This is an awesome occasion for me, and I think it's real special that I got to be Best of Reston as we celebrate 50 years of our dear and beloved community and 100 years of our dear beloved Bob Simon. I'm just appreciative of all of that. A special thanks to my family and friends and all you friends who came here to support Best of Reston and Cornerstones. Reston has been a wonderful experience for me. 41 years ago, I came to Reston, and that young woman, my daughter, was a 6-month-old baby. I came to Reston kicking and screaming. I didn't come like many of you came to share the vision. It was dark and dreary and muddy, and I was a young woman from Jersey City, New Jersey, where we had lights and all kinds of action. But I took my baby, my 6-month-old baby, in a stroller, and we walked around our community. We met lots of families, young people. We hung out in the tot lot and the Safeway. And there we met so many good friends and just made Reston a part of our lives. Reston has afforded me an opportunity to serve and be served, and I consider myself very fortunate. It's the kind of community where it's easy to get involved. You just kind of show up and there's a job for you to do. And so, that's really special. I got, of course, involved in my profession in the schools, but I want to commend the schools because they are open to all of us to come and share and do with the students. We have great schools here in Reston. And of course, a special thanks to Cornerstones for their vision and their perseverance in serving the most needy in our community, in the Reston, Herndon, Sterling area. We all, at this particular time in our lives and in our world and in our country, have an opportunity to serve those who are less fortunate than we, and who have so many needs. And I think Cornerstones opens the doors and opens our hearts to giving and sharing what we have. Too much is given, much is required, and I thank Reston for giving me the opportunity to love and be and share. Thank you.
Our next honoree is steeped in Reston's founding values and demonstrates her commitment to its special culture with a giving and intelligent heart by connecting her work, home, and volunteer lives. From her first job in Reston Association's tennis program to her current role as the CEO, where she will guide Reston's future growth, Reston's DNA is fully expressed in everything she undertakes. Please congratulate Kate Lucas Fulkerson. Kate's award will be presented by Doug Boucher, founder and president of the Core Foundation and prior Best of Reston honoree.
As a child of Reston, Kate has a unique view, and she understands this community the way very few other people could. At the core of her community, you have to be involved. You have to be engaged.
She has a commitment to Reston and a vision for Reston that embodies
the inclusivity and the diversity that our founder, Bob Simon, had 50 years ago and has today.
Kate really helped shape the Ethics Day program at South Lakes. She is one of the few people who really helped make a difference in the kids' lives that came through that program every year. Her dedication in keeping it fresh, making sure that every kid that came through that program took the most out of it and carried it forward was really impressive.
And I think she really sees the importance of that in the young generation, and she wants to start there, and she wants to get other adults in the community to see that this generation is already thinking about these types of things like ethics and values, and so it's dual purpose.
As a teenager, I worked for Reston Association in the summers as a lifeguard. Kate was there. She was the person who would issue pool passes to the pool staff for us to sell on site. It was a big responsibility, and we thought that it was kind of cool that an adult would take that time and show us and have that trust in us that we could do a good job.
She was an emerging leader, and I suggested that she might like to try Leadership Fairfax because it's a good way to kind of spread your wings and meet some new people and get some opportunities.
Kate was the chair of the committee that focused on helping us revise our policies and procedures. She was very instrumental in helping with the strategic plan, making sure that our documents were up to date and keeping with the principles and the values of our organization.
She did her class year, joined a committee, took over my committee, joined the board, and ended up leading that organization. And I was like, bravo, that's exactly what I expected.
Kate's that behind-the-scenes leader. She'll take leadership roles that no one else wants to take, but she also encourages other people to lead.
Business leaders, the youth community, government through not only county government, but Reston Association leadership. She's really got the ability to weave the different pieces of the community together.
She listens carefully. She's a consensus builder. She's been very instrumental in getting people with different ideas and very different views to sit down and discuss things.
Kate's always been the one to keep everyone calm and focused on what we are supposed to be focused on.
She's a great role model for those who can look at servant leadership.
Kate personally is probably one of the funniest and heartwarming people I know.
Behind that very serious person is a wicked sense of humor. She is one of the funniest, fun people that I've ever been around.
Kate is one of the best in Reston. It's not because she's the CEO of Reston Association, it's because she's just Kate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kate Lucas-Flores.
I will remember everyone from that video carefully. I am very humbled to be here before you tonight. For me, I'm more used to being in your place and watching the awardees and the videos and gaining great inspiration by the incredible stories that they have and wanting to do the right thing. So this evening, I take the time to thank those who inspire me to do the right thing. My mother and my father, my aunt and my uncle, my best friends, my staff, my board, and anyone who chooses to give of their time to give themselves for the betterment of others and for their community. But most importantly, I dedicate this honor to my husband, Dave, and my daughter, Sarah Ann, who expect me every day, without fail, to strive to do my best and be a giving and strong cornerstone by being a trustworthy, respectful, responsible, caring, and fair citizen in my community, Reston. I hope I never let them down. Thank you, and happy birthday, Bob.
Members of this National Professional Trade Association wanted to align their skills, resources, and network of vendors and employee volunteers in meaningful charity work that would hit home for families in our community. This community organization, Homemade Northern Virginia, leverages the impact of nonprofits like Gabriel Homes, Cornerstones, Homestretch, and Shelter House by seeing their clients into safe, attractive, and welcoming homes as they get back on their feet. Homade's award will be accepted by Sal Migliori, Homemade Board President and President of Augustine Homes, and Christy Eaton, Homemade's Executive Director. Their award will be presented tonight by David Ross, President of Atlantic Realty Companies, and Cynthia Highland, Vice President at Northrop Grumman.
I got started with Homemade about 12 years ago when a group of builders came to me and said they were putting together a wonderful new organization with a great philosophy. We're home builders, we build dreams for people. How about helping the homeless? Why don't we take our resources and help them out? This was just made for us, this concept of giving back in the community in a way that we know how. How do we build? So let's go out and build for folks who are having a tough time.
Builders from all over the region have volunteered to be builder captains on projects. Sometimes there's donated material, sometimes there's a lot of discounted material.
So a builder captain reaches out to all of their subcontractors that they use, their trade partners, the plumbers, the electricians, the painters, the drywall folks, etc. And each of those folks many times graciously come to the rescue and offer their services at a huge discount or many times for free.
They came and helped us to redo many of our affordable homes, to, in some cases, gut them and make them safe and livable and beautiful. They have come in and helped us to expand our homeless shelter from 60 beds to 92 beds and to make it a family-friendly area so that we could help them move more quickly through their training to be able to get into housing. None of that we could have done on our own.
The other thing that has been part of Homemade is an organization that's grown out of it called Women Giving Back.
A number of primarily ladies, women in our industry, in the sales and marketing end of things, decided to help women get jobs by providing them a wardrobe. All sorts of wonderful working women around our community donate their used clothing, gorgeous clothing in many respects, that they can no longer wear for whatever reason.
And some of the clothing that's donated still has the tags on.
And folks come in and their eyes light up. I mean, tears are in their eyes. They come in with nothing. They don't have a home. They don't even have a wardrobe. It's an incredible organization, and it's growing, and a tremendous response by the community.
On the 86 projects that Homemade has done over the last 12 years, they've saved the nonprofits and the governments $6 million in projects. So you can put an actual number on it. But the value to those people who then have shelter, who have a home or a shelter to go to when they need it most, that value is incalculable.
The response is extraordinarily emotional from what I've seen from my personal experience, and there's a great feeling to know that there's a family out there just like our families who we've put into a home and made happy again.
It's just remarkable to see how having a safe, beautiful place transforms a family's life.
So please welcome Sal Migliori and Christy Eaton of Homemade Northern Virginia to the stage.
Well, thank you very much. On behalf of Homemade, I have to tell you what an honor it is to be receiving this award. We've had a long relationship with Cornerstone, and we look forward to continuing that. It's a proud feeling to be partners with such a group, and it's also such a good feeling to know that we are impacting the town of Reston and those that live there that aren't as fortunate. And we change people's lives when we do that, but more importantly, I think to our group, is that the feeling that we get in the change that happens to us because of helping these folks, helping our neighbors, and it makes a difference. And so, with that said, from Homemade and Women Giving Back, we are proud to serve Reston, and we are glad that you have us as our neighbors. So, thank you.
I mentioned once again that it was David Ross who had that 100-year-old bottle of wine. David, was there a six-pack of any chance? Nothing. Okay. No response. Giving back is a smart thing to do if you are in business. But for the husband and wife principals who founded their community-oriented law firm, Brennan & Waite, it was personal, and from the start, they made it a practice to contribute generously to numerous charities. After losing his wife and law partner to ALS at age 40, Matt Brennan felt even more strongly about the need to give back. Through his service and leadership, he is a model for other business leaders, and he is a hero to many, including the person who is most important to him, his daughter. Please congratulate Matt Brennan of Brennan & Waite.
I didn't know much about Matt's history. I knew that he had been a soldier in Vietnam as a young man. He has always carried from his first service in the military and throughout all of the things he's done a very deep conviction about public service, and public service in a very community way. When he and his wife Carol had started, who was his partner, had started the firm Brennan & Waite, that it was with a conviction that the firm would be equally committed to both community service and the practice of quality law that served its clients.
Then she passed away, and it was their company, so I think he just thought, well, it's our company, I don't have the right to take her out of it. It was like their thing as a couple. It was theirs. So he kept that, and it's sort of like a part of them that he still has. He has their company.
Brennan & Waite has shown up on that sponsor list that you see in the back of programs or on posters at so many events I can't even name them. They have been tremendous, generous contributors to many community events.
I know Matt best through Vienna Rotary. Matt has been active from some of the entry type positions as secretary and so forth, the president of the club. He's been president of the foundation.
Matt was the incoming chair behind me at the Reston Chamber, and we were going through what one could call a very challenging time for the chamber. He didn't run, he didn't balk. He was there every step of the way. He was physically there every step of the way. He was there for phone calls. He was there side by side with me, with the staff, with the chamber, with the members, with everything we were dealing with. And he made it possible for us to get through that year with shining colors and look at the chamber today. A large part of that is due to Matt's involvement.
He was also the leader during a transition period of Leadership Fairfax where some really hard decisions needed to be made and financial challenges were faced by the board.
When something needs to be done, he's going to do it, and he's going to do it right, or he's not going to do it at all.
The Ethics Day, which Matt has a big role in having started and sustained.
He wants that next generation, including his daughter, and her peers, to take away the import of living an ethical life and understanding what community is about.
He really, really wants to help the kids that aren't as fortunate as I am.
My daughter had this idea for a nonprofit, and he took one look at it and said, yeah, let's do it. So he stepped in to do all the pro bono work to get the company started. He was an advisor all along the way. We're now going into our 5th year, and he continues to be one of our biggest supporters, both with his time and with his money, his attention, and he also shares us with his network.
You know, Measure for Measure in a single small solo practitioner office, what he contributes back to the community never lets "I'm too busy" or "there's, you know, I'm an office of one" be an excuse. He's very quiet about his the commitment and the passion and the time and the energy that he gives, and that makes it even more special today to have him be recognized in this wonderful venue.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Brennan.
You will give that back to me, right? They told me I had a minute to speak. I'm a lawyer. My opening remarks are a lot longer than a minute normally, but I'm going to try and keep it to a dull roar because I'm so gratified by this moment. And I'd like to thank Cornerstones, two of my favorite organizations, Cornerstones and the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. Great organizations that I've been involved with, and that are really a strong piece of the fabric of this wonderful place called Reston. I'd like to thank the nominating, or the selection committee for selecting me, and for the people like Patty Stevens and Mark Ingrao and Jen Sterling and Casey Beach that promoted this nomination. I feel humbled by that. This is a very great honor, and it's even a greater honor given that it's Reston's 50th birthday and Bob's 100th birthday. So thank you very much. And Carol Waite thanks you too.
I've known Matt for quite a while, and he has one of the driest but most wicked sense of humor. Our next honoree opens our eyes to the many ways we can make a difference in our community. Fueled by her personal experience, she began a passionate journey to fight blindness, bringing free screening to preschool children and working with the Foundation Fighting Blindness in very creative ways to raise funds and awareness about the challenges faced by those with low vision. Also involved in school and community activities, Davida Lures shines a bright light on what it means to serve. This award will be presented by John Deerdorf, President and CEO of Reston Hospital Center.
Davida has been dealing with retinitis pigmentosa for many, many years. RP affects the periphery, causing loss of side vision, and gradually works its way right into the center, to the fine point, our detailed part of the vision. And eventually, people can lose all their vision and become totally blind.
Davida has incredible drive. She wakes up every morning, and I'm sure the first thing she thinks about is what is she going to accomplish for the Foundation Fighting Blindness to bring us closer to finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. She is a founding member of the Northern Virginia chapter, later became the chairperson of the chapter, and is now a leading fundraiser for us throughout the region. Just an extraordinary woman.
She always connects us with resources for research, for doctors, for technology.
And she really began to champion their cause, to the point that the Foundation Fighting Blindness itself started to look to Davida to do more and more.
The Vision Walk just this last year passed the $1 million mark in the amount of money that we have raised in the 6 years since its existence here. And she has just been instrumental from the first walk all the way through to the most recent walk, as well as our upcoming walk, our Dining in the Dark dinner, which she has also chaired. Has raised on the order of about $750,000. We've really built this dinner up. It's an extraordinary opportunity to see what it's like for a short period of time to live without vision.
What it is about Davida is simply her strong determination, her resilience, and her genuine desire to want to be involved and to help others in a similar predicament.
Making people with vision impairments feel not alone?
Well, I've known Davida for about 6 years. She came to Lions through her work with Foundation Fighting Blindness. Since then, she has held several offices in the organization. She likes to be involved in an awful lot.
The Lions Club, we met with them about 6 months ago and to discuss about testing for kids' eyesight. It literally takes seconds to find out if a kid's eyesight is perfect or if there is need of seeing an ophthalmologist, an optometrist for eyesight.
The video vision equipment, it looks for 8 different vision disorders. We have 11 in our Northern Virginia district, and use them to screen preschoolers from age 6 months on up. Each piece of equipment was about $7,500. Davida basically was the one beating the bushes raising money.
She is able to put aside her RP and her limitations and not let those things prevent her from doing all these wonderful activities and community services that she provides, whereas the rest of us, despite all of our vision and our abilities, often find excuses and complaints not to do some of these things. Davida is truly a very remarkable person.
Please welcome Davida Lourdes to the stage.
I am so incredibly humbled and honored to be in front of you this evening. I am deeply touched by the belief for those who had in me to nominate me to become a Best of Reston honoree. Thank you so very much. I am forever grateful, and I promise and commit to continue to work hard to be an active volunteer in my community. Reston has been a wonderful community for Jim and I to raise our 3 children, Jessica, Rachel, and Jimmy. We moved here in 1991, knowing that vision loss would potentially cause me to give up my driver's license. But being in North Point, it was a wonderful place to be because it afforded me the opportunity to walk to everything I needed to take care of my family, including volunteering and being a part of my children's elementary school life at Aldrin Elementary. Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans, is the statement, and it is so, so true. There have been a few shining stars along my personal journey of losing my vision. My husband, Jim, has been, without a doubt, the brightest and the strongest one. His love and support and encouragement has allowed me to do what I do and to reach out and to help other people. Jim, thank you so very much for everything that you have done for me. The other shining star that has motivated me and continues to inspire me, and Jim, you're right, I wake up every morning wondering what the day's gonna bring and working hard, is the Foundation Fighting Blindness. As a world leader in the field of retinal research, the Foundation Fighting Blindness is the key organization giving hope to those like myself affected with vision loss, that without a doubt, the preventions, treatments, and cures for all blinding retinal diseases is around the corner. We are making a difference, but we can't do it alone. I thank you so much for your time tonight. I thank you for your belief in me, and I hope that you will consider joining us on Sunday, April 27th. We're gathering in support of the 9th annual Vision Walk to stop blinding retinal diseases. We're working on our second $1 million. Thank you very much.
inspirational. It really is. Solving a Rubik's Cube with your feet, playing indoor volleyball in the partners' conference room, and holding tricycle races in the Boston Properties garages really blows the whole buttoned-up image of your typical law firm. Actually, it sounds like a weekend with my grandkids, but that's a separate issue. Unless you understand it was all part of their annual fundraiser to support the homeless men, women, and children they can see outside their windows. The employees believe that giving back is more than a responsibility, it's part of their culture, as reflected in more than employee paid time off and matched giving of more than $1 million to nonprofits, and more than 33,000 hours donated to 700 pro bono activities each year, including their work in supporting Reston Master Plan development. Please congratulate Cooley LLP. Cooley's award this evening will be accepted by partner Mark Looney, who was also former chair of the Reston Chamber Board and at one time chair of this event. The award will be presented by Denise Hogan of Boston Properties.
The Cooley way is they try to solve a client's problems by partnering with the client. The way they do that work is the way I think all of legal work will be done in the future. More of a partnership and less of a service that's being provided to the client.
Mark Looney did not hesitate, did not blink or flinch when he was asked by Habitat to put together a comprehensive plan amendment to the county. A very arduous process because it is taking a parcel of land previously zoned for another use and to free it up to be zoned for affordable housing. That's at least 18 months of phenomenally terrific, precise work that requires diligence and research and perseverance and patience. And they stuck with Habitat through that at least 18-month program every step of the way.
Well, when we were trying to start Bite Me Cancer in 2010, they did such an amazing job on, the filing for the 501c3 that instead of taking a year or even longer, it only took about 3 months to get approved. They did such a phenomenal job. Another thing that they've done is they've had other lawyers from their office, come and help us, and one has even joined our advisory council and is helping us with the finance area of the foundation, so we're really thankful for that as well.
They have served and are still serving on the IPAR Board of Directors. They are serving also on our committees, such as the Advocacy Committee, the Public Art Committee, and they are bringing great skills, advice, guidance.
So Cooley's negotiations for the proffer have allowed Grace to secure a space this space is really critical to Grace's mission, connecting the public with contemporary art. And they have been great advocates of the arts in general, but particularly of Grace and of IPAR, and we are very grateful for that.
Part of their culture is to give both time, talent, and they certainly have done that in the Fairfax and Reston area.
When we began the process of making the documentary film, I was very concerned about how we would cover our legal services. It can be a tremendous budget item for a documentary film, and we just didn't have that. And it was such a relief for me when Cooley stepped in and said, "We're here for you. We will provide these services pro bono." It was at that point that I knew we could really make this film. We could have in place what we needed to get this film out into the world eventually.
Cooley not only has it devoted many of its attorneys to the efforts that are embraced by the Fairfax Law Foundation, principally pro bono activity, but they also give it their treasure as well. And over the years, they have donated about $50,000. Cooley is above and beyond.
Please welcome Mark Looney, Cooley LLP.
print is actually smaller when you get up here. So I want to thank Cornerstones and the Reston Chamber for all of their support, and to Casey Beach for nominating us tonight. We value our relationship with each of you and appreciate your support. 15 years ago, a law firm called Cooley Godward, based in Silicon Valley, opened up its first office on the East Coast here in Reston. Not in DC, not in New York, not in Boston, in Reston. We did so because it most closely represented the atmosphere that we treasured so much in Silicon Valley: entrepreneurial, collaborative, and forward-thinking. We owe this community our thanks and our gratitude, as Cooley has used our great experience here in Reston as a springboard for other successes. So thank you. Our CEO, Joe Conroy, constantly challenges us to be Cooley. To be Cooley, one must adhere to the firm's vision and values, to not compromise quality, to value diversity, to give back to our community, and to take pride in our firm and its reputation. We could not succeed as a firm without the efforts of our employees who strive every day to be Cooley. We are fortunate to have such a great group of people, many of whom are here this evening, and we appreciate this recognition of their hard work. Thank you to our Cooley Reston team for a job well done, and thank you all for this great award.
It's often the person who is behind the scene, listening and watching, who has the best perspective. Our final honoree this evening uses his talents as a filmmaker to shine a spotlight on the work of local nonprofits who are changing lives, but who rarely have the luxury of sharing the impact or importance of that work. When not at Fairfax Public Access, Jerry Ferguson has donated thousands of hours and resources in helping Leadership Fairfax, the Fairfax Falls Church Partnership to Prevent and End Homelessness, and our very own Best of Reston, bringing their stories and the people behind them to life. There is great power in a moving story to inspire others to think and act, and that is why we honor the man behind the camera, Jerry Ferguson. This award will be presented by Rich Montoni, President and CEO of Maximus.
A lot of people in this audience probably aren't aware that many of the videos that they've watched throughout this community have been created by Jerry Ferguson. I know that Jerry's worked with over 100 different nonprofits across Northern Virginia, ranging from arts organizations to human service organizations to chambers of commerce.
I was amazed by how much he understood what was going on in this community from a political perspective to a social perspective. So he really understands the community and advocates for it.
I don't think I've ever heard Jerry say no, whatever the event, whatever the weather is, whatever time of day it is. He is a dependable member of this community who is willing to help capture the essence of an organization in order to share it and use it as an agent for change.
The idea behind the 100K Homes campaign and what we were trying to accomplish together as a community was to tell the story of those people that are chronically homeless. So on the first day we went through a training and Jerry was there from soup to nuts the whole day. Then Jerry went the next evening to one of the homeless hypothermia shelters and filmed some of the residents and the volunteers that were assisting to try to tell the story. The rest of the week was getting up 2 o'clock in the morning, going out into the woods in extremely cold temperatures, finding them in a car, sleeping in a shopping center somewhere. Jerry did a great job of not only telling the story, but being extremely delicate and respectful. I've used this video to explain the issue of homelessness to our business partners, to potential volunteers, to leaders in the Fairfax County community, to tell the story of how homelessness impacts us on a daily basis. I went back and looked at the video recently, and it still makes me cry, but it just tells how well that story has been told.
Jerry has a special way of connecting with people and making them feel comfortable and safe enough to share some of what they have been through in order to use it to help an organization's mission.
It really makes a huge difference in our fundraising efforts. I take it with me to all my presentations, when I go out to visit my groups, to let them know about Alternative House, and the feedback and the comment that I get afterwards is, wow, what a powerful tool that you've got there, or wow, it was really amazing to hear directly from the kids that you're working with. And so it really elevates our marketing efforts and our communications efforts, if you will.
This is a very thoughtful person. This is somebody who comes to the table with ideas, who really knows the community. So he brings a very interesting perspective all the time.
While he's very talented at helping draw out important stories and themes in different videos that he works on, he's also just a ton of fun to work with.
And just very dependable. If he said he was going to do something, he did it. And it would be there when you needed it and on time, and you know, just a great person to work with. So, and a lot of fun to work with too.
Jerry shows quiet leadership behind the scenes, asking important questions, spending the time to create a story and create a product that will really create an impact in our community.
I think he's also very passionate about the organizations that he works with. I don't think he's just doing this for the purpose of doing work. I think he's doing this because he really wants to support the mission of the organizations that he's affiliated with.
He's not just doing his job, he's helping a nonprofit come to life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Ferguson.
I've heard of autobiography, but auto documentary is a little bizarre. Not that I hadn't done it before, though. So I have to say, first and foremost, thanks to the Fairfax Public Access Board of Directors, who years ago understood the value, both to our organization and to the community, in having an outreach program. And I thank them for entrusting me to be their representative for that. And it's been gratifying because I get to learn a lot about how this community works and who does what and why it's important. For me, that's really the reason for doing this. Last 7 years or so, I've done these Best of Reston videos, and while it takes a village to put this extravaganza together, I get my whole little tribe to help me put these things together. And out of that, I have to thank 3 people in particular: Amy McDowell Marlowe, Allie Robbins, and Abby Kimball, who have been my assistants for the last couple of years. And made these videos so much better than they would have been without their help. I gotta thank my wife for all the early mornings, the late nights, the weekends, the holidays, and even the occasional vacation day when I've been busy doing all of this. Without her, it wouldn't be worth it anyway. Love you. And finally, happy birthday, Bob. And thank you for being nuts enough to come up with an idea that you could build a place where people care about each other and actually do something about it. Thank you.
Well, he's an accomplished filmmaker. Nothing negative about Jerry. Sorry about that. Congratulations again to everyone. What a fitting tribute in this, our special anniversary year, to have had such a group of such deserving honorees. One more round for all of them. And now please welcome back to the stage our co-chairs for this evening, Karen Cleveland and Casey Veach.
Thank you, Phil. You always make this such a wonderful evening. Isn't he hilarious and great?
Good job, Phil. Excellent.
We're so grateful to have him here. I tell you, Casey, it's really hard to get back up here because, especially listening to Jerry and all of our honorees, it's hard to dry the tears and get back pumped up about it because I'm so reflective about the wonderful things that they've done.
I'm going to smack Matt Brennan later for making me cry at my table. Matt, man.
But many of you have been to a lot of fundraising events where at the end of the night, we ask you to open up your wallets and make a donation to us. And we have never, ever done that before at Best of Reston. We have never felt like we wanted to do that because the sponsors give so generously of their money to be here and to make this night possible. However, tonight being the 50th anniversary of Reston and Bob's 100th birthday, and honestly, every year I get people that come up to me, and Casey does too, that say, why didn't you ever ask us for money? Our company paid for our table, but nobody asked us to make a donation. So tonight, because we have an audacious goal, we are actually going to ask you, those of you that haven't already opened up your checkbooks, to do so for us.
Ready? The doors have been locked. So I will say this. I went to Hunters Woods Elementary School. I went to Herndon Middle School. I went to South Lakes High School.
Give it up.
That's right. And we went to school with kids who had indoor pools and kids who were in subsidized housing. And what you all have done and what Cornerstones does for these kids, and I have 3 of my friends I've known since elementary school and high school at my table, they will tell you, we know now, we didn't know then, but you all were helping kids around us and we didn't even know it. And what you're doing today, I just know, because I can think back, and the kids you're helping today are just the same kids that were in school with us.
Well, thank you, Casey. Welcome to the best night out in Reston, don't you think? Isn't this the best night out in Reston? So, thank you, Casey, and thank you, Bob Simon and the entire Simon Award-winning team for an incredible job this evening. Congratulations to all the honorees, and thank you for your actions of giving back to this community. On behalf of the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, staff and members, Jane Raymond, our current chair, Michael Ferraro, our immediate past chair, I want to say how proud and thankful we are by the overwhelming generosity of this business community as we set out to raise contributions to end homelessness and assist Cornerstones in doubling its housing stock. We are known as a chamber with a social conscience, and through your time, treasure, and talent, you helped us live up to that moniker. This chamber values the powerful partnership that is alive today with Cornerstones. We're in uncharted and historic waters tonight for several reasons. One, the long-lasting 23-year relationship and partnership between the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce and Cornerstones, and between the business community and the nonprofit community, which is unequal to any community around. Stronger today than it was the day it started. Second, we see unfolding before our very eyes the vision of Reston's founder, Bob Simon, that he laid 50 years ago of an entire community that cares for each segment of its population. A place where people truly do live, work, play, and yes, serve with and for each other. And finally, Bob, you're the reason we're here tonight. And the goal of raising $1 million over a 2-year period to double the stock of affordable housing here in Reston for the most neediest in our community is not only visionary, but it was the right vision, and thank you for that vision. Casey, for 2 years, $1,178,000 over 2 years. Give yourselves a hand.
We may need a CPA or two in the House to confirm the number, but just incredible. That is just such a big number, and it's very hard to express the appreciation and gratitude we have for everybody here. Casey and Karen following Bob's lead, the fellows, Chuck, Joe, Bill, Jim, Karen, Ray, who joined them, everyone on this stage, the Chamber of Commerce, who really worked so hard to say, let's set this really audacious goal. And I feel a little bit like Jason Worth, Grand Slam, but y'all were batting for us, and it happened, and we can't thank you enough. It is just so incredible, because what is so very special, as you heard from every one of the honorees tonight, is that this community takes pride in a community and the people that serve. And I can think of no better reflection of that than the honorees who were, we celebrated tonight, and I'd like to give them a hand. It was just in our 50th year. What an amazing group of people. So incredible. And we've been thinking so much about that, I think, the last few weeks with all the celebration that's been going on in Reston. It's one of those things that if you ain't from here, right, you don't get it, but you heard a little bit of that. And it's the thing that brought people here, except for maybe Carol Ann, maybe not. But it's definitely, I think it's definitely the thing that keeps people here. And I don't know whether it's the water at Lake Ann or the secret ingredients in Bob's lunchtime beverage of choice. But there is something very special about this community that says, it's the spirit, it's something that says, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. And that's what Reston Interfaith, now Cornerstones, and the founding faith communities who built this organization 43 years ago understood, and it was through housing, it was through welcoming people, and they understood the importance of taking that message out and ensuring and bringing all of you along, the faith community who sustains us, the business community who's joined us, the civic community organizations, the individuals, the partners, every one of you who have helped us grow our mission and helped us build this thing and this wonderful organization. And it's the thing that makes us stronger tonight. It's the thing that I looked to when I learned earlier today that one of the wait staff at one of the restaurants here in Reston Town Center just went to our shelter with her 2 young children. And so that was sad news to hear, somebody working here with her 2 children. And there was also a memorial service earlier today for a Vietnam veteran named Chick Hoyt. Some of you may remember Chick, and there were stories about him, who'd been on the streets for 20-some years after serving in Vietnam. And because of the partnerships, the organizations that part of the 100,000 Homes campaign in Fairfax County, Chick was off the streets. He died recently, but I'd like to think that the work that everybody did, that he had comfort and that he knew, and he was comfortable in the last 3 years of his life off the street, and so I thank you. And it's what motivates us. When I think of Cheryl, who so inspires us, and she wowed the Freddie Mac board when they said, we want to be part of something, a legacy as Freddie Mac leaves, and they joined all of us. And so it's with great pride and excitement that I turn to some of the early founders of Reston Interfaith, Lee and Terry and Bill and Susan and others who were in the room, who stood up with my dear friend Vade Bolton and Stu Rakoff, who aren't here, but now with Angela and Jill and so many, and all of my partners, and a really special guy named Mike Scheuer, who chairs our Housing Corporation Board, as part of the Homemade Initiative, that we are proud to announce that with the help from Freddie Mac and Virginia Housing Development Authority and Fairfax County and so many other people, NII, we have just signed an agreement to purchase 48 units, double the number of housing we have to bring people like Chick. This is the money. And it doesn't sound like many, but you heard Davida talk about it. The apartments at North Point will continue to be an incredible, welcoming place for people who are leaving the shelter, for seniors, for people with disabilities. And so we are so grateful, and we're not done. They promised you they wouldn't do it again, but we intend to build more in Reston Town Center. We intend to tear down the shelter and build apartments and build more housing, and we need your help. So thank you all. We'll see you next year. Thank you.